Wow. Okay. All right. We got some shit to go through today. That's for sure. How's it going, guys? It's been a couple months. It's been a little while. I know I was planning on making more videos this off season, but for a while I wasn't really feeling it, and then things were just kind of depressing to me, and I had some tragedies happen in my personal life actually, so I just wasn't feeling it. So I just wasn't making videos for a while. A few things just happened, and honestly, it's too bad that I couldn't make videos for a couple months because a lot of stuff went down. Now, I'm not a big fan of everything that went down, that's for sure, but it was worth talking about. So let's go through it, guys. Let's take the last couple months of Seahawks activity and condense it down into one video, because for me, there are two sides to this. There's the stuff that I was mostly happy with and the stuff that I'm mostly unhappy with. And it divides pretty cleanly between the coaching staff changes and the player changes, the roster changes. So I've had a few people ask for my takes on all of this stuff. I just wasn't able to really get to them. So here it is. Here's how I feel. I already made a video about the coaches we let go. That was pretty, I think I covered all the significant releases that we had there. We brought in Brian Schottenheimer to call the shots on offense, which I don't love, but I think he might allow us to get back to basics. And I think that's what this team needs right now. It feels like we just lost the fundamentals of how to play quality offense last season. And a guy like Brian Schottenheimer, who has not been great in his career at all, has also never really had a great quarterback that he worked with. So I look at him and I see a very unspectacular offensive coordinator, but this is an opportunity for him to do better than he's ever done because, like I said, in previous years, he didn't have great quarterbacks. He was coaching, like the really old version of Brett Favre. He was coaching a couple of guys in St. Louis, rookie Sam Bradford, and a couple other guys whose names I can't even remember. But that one's okay. I appreciate the need for a change. I hope he can come in and instill fundamentals into this offense. If we get that, okay, fine. But I'm not crazy about it. He certainly doesn't have the high-flying resume that you would like, especially when there was a dude like the Philadelphia offensive coordinator out there, DeFilippo, or a quarterback coach, actually. So it's all right. Defensive coordinator Ken Norton Jr., I'm fine with this. He's obviously not a tremendous X's and O's guy, but he is somebody who the team likes, the players like. They like playing for him, and he can be more of a rah-rah guy while Pete Carroll gets to be basically the X's and O's coordinator, which if you're a Seahawks fan, you should be happy about that. I like that. Pete Carroll basically being our defensive coordinator next year could fix a lot of the problems that we had last year and make things a lot better. So I'm good with that. More because of what it means, more than what I think of Ken Norton Jr.'s talent. I think he's clearly limited in some areas, but he clearly has some advantages. Let's see here. And the other big one that I really liked, this one I was really into, Mike Solari is going to coach the Seahawks offensive line this year, replacing Tom Cable. I think he's going to simplify our offensive blocking scheme, which is something that Tom Cable really let get away from him, telling guys to block in these complicated schemes that they seem like they were incapable of understanding. So there's no way that's going to be a bad thing, and I think it has a chance to be a very good thing. He's done great things in his career. He was the offensive line coordinator in Kansas City for many years when they had Willie Rolfe and Will Shields. And there is a possibility that the offensive line on this team right now is much better than we think it is, and Tom Cable's coaching was just getting in their way. So Mike Solari has a chance to come in this season and really overhaul this offensive line. I'm very excited about that. So those are the coaches. I'm happy with it. I'm fine with it. We kept Pete Carroll, which, fine. He deserves that. We kept Brian Schneider, which I do not like. I don't know what's going on there. Well, okay, I kind of do, but I certainly don't like it. But, we'll see. And I think our coaching staff is in much better shape now than it was last year. Now, going into this draft tonight, obviously things have the opportunity to change. The draft is in less than 5 hours. But I got to talk about these players, man, because this was an off-season of purge, man. And we all knew it was coming, but we didn't think it was going to be coming this fast. We didn't think it was going to be coming after only one Super Bowl, if some people. We didn't think it was going to be coming after a season where we basically went all in, trading for Sheldon Richardson and Dwayne Brown and all that shit. We did not expect that. So let's run it down. What did we lose? What are we going to do about next season? Because, guys, I get it. I get most of this stuff. I understand. I get why a lot of these decisions were made. I think some of them have very reasonable thoughts behind them, but it hurts right now. And obviously, I wasn't making videos as it happened, so my full emotional reaction to some of this stuff has been muted, which is probably a good thing, to be honest. But Richard Sherman, that's a big one. We had him under contract. We could have just kept him another year if we wanted to. So this was a choice that we made. We just decided let's do better with our cap. We owe him. He's cost $11 million against our cap this season. It's sad, man, and it's sad to know we're going to play him twice this year, that he goes to our interdivision rival, a team that is loading up to try to make a run at things right now. To see him go to San Francisco, to see him, like I said, go after Wilson twice a year for the foreseeable future. It hurts to see him sign a contract with San Francisco that, quite honestly, did not guarantee him very much at all. That was a very favorable contract for the 49ers, proving that he wanted to play in this division, that he didn't care so much about the money or the contract he was getting. He took this, prove-it deal that the 49ers can basically get out of after giving him very little, kind of like the Russell Okung and Denver deal that happened a couple years ago. And we think about all the great moments we had with Richard Sherman. I still love him. We won a Super Bowl with him. We went to 2 Super Bowls. We won, 8 or 9 playoff games. It's great. I love it. I love all that. And I'm not going to forget it. He's still our guy. But he was definitely the kind of guy that you wished could have suited up for you his whole career. So it sucks. And I get it. We're saving a lot of money. Sherman was due to start falling off a little bit in the way that he played football, although we did not see that last year, in my opinion. In my opinion, last year he played fine. He's coming off a significant injury, so you have to worry about his health for the rest of his career, but it's just not fun. I understand. I'm not even saying it's a bad move. I might even go as far to say that it's a very reasonable move, but it hurts. It's going to hurt. Because I believe that Richard Sherman is going to be a good player for at least another year, maybe 2. And seeing him line up for a division rival and play good is not going to be fun. On the flip side of things, I will give our front office a little bit of credit here. We finally dumped Michael Bennett. Thank the Lord. Gave him that ridiculous contract extension right as he was starting to fall apart as a player. His body was starting to fail him a little bit. I'm not saying he was a bad player. I'm not saying everything that happened was his fault, but the problems with Michael Bennett were starting to outweigh the benefits, and we just gave him all that money, the 3 years, $30 million. Now he's got some legal issue with something we did at the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Um, guys, I I had the exact opposite reaction to dumping Bennett as I did Sherman. I was happy, I was relieved, it felt like it was the right thing to do. And look, Bennett is like Sherman. Bennett did a lot of good stuff for us. We won 8 playoff games, or no, we won 7 playoff games with him. He helped us win a Super Bowl, all that. He did great stuff. We had a winning record every year he was here. I don't forget the bad stuff, or excuse me, I don't forget the good stuff, but the bad stuff was starting not to outweigh the good stuff. This is not like Sherman. Sherman has good years left. I'm not convinced that Bennett can be a full-time starter and still have good years left. I think, he goes to Philadelphia. We got an interesting wide receiver and a little bit of draft capital out of it. He's going to be good there. They got a rotation. They can play him limited snaps. We couldn't do that. We didn't have the right personnel to give him limited snaps. Sheldon Richardson. I don't have much of an emotional attachment to Sheldon Richardson, but that dude was a beast. I know he only had a couple sacks last year. I don't care. He was a beast. And if you watch the games, you know how valuable Sheldon Richardson was. So to know that we gave up a second-round draft pick, Jermaine Kearse, for a 1-year rental of Sheldon Richardson, where we didn't even make the playoffs, and now he's just going to Minnesota for $8 million, which is, as far as I'm concerned, tremendous underpay for a player of that caliber. Like, every time an opposing team busted a big run against us, it seemed like Sheldon Richardson was on the bench. That's how important he was to this run defense. And now he's in Minnesota. I think he's going to eat over there, man. That is terrifying. We got to deal with that team in our conference, too. Jimmy Graham, it was obviously going to happen. Thank you for your 3 years in Seattle, Jimmy Graham. I've been harsh on him a couple times. I think a lot of Seattle fans have. A lot of Seattle fans were annoyed by him. I don't really put what happened on him. He had a fluke injury that really took his career down a couple notches, in my opinion, his first year here. He never totally fit in on offense. When we found opportunities to get him the ball, he was great. I will miss him, but it was obviously time for him to go. Jimmy Graham, don't mind it. Good luck in Green Bay. I like that guy, despite occasionally getting very frustrated with him. Paul Richardson. I like Paul. Sad to see him go. Don't think he's worth all that money. They gave him 5 years, $40 million in Washington, D.C. Play for the Redskins. He's good. I don't believe he's $40 million good. So I understand letting him go. You can get another wide receiver, and we do need to get another wide receiver, but I understand. That's fine. I'll miss him, but for that money, I'm not going to miss him that much. Luke Wilson went to Detroit. Kind of sad. He was not a great player, and we could have used help at tight end now that Jimmy Graham is gone, but you can get decent tight ends from a lot of different places. I'm not sweating it. It's just sad because he was about the best thing we ever got out of that 2013 draft. And now our 2013 draft is just a barren wasteland of bullshit, man. Deshaun Shedd broke my heart. He's just starting, in my opinion, to get his feet underneath him as a cornerback, and now he's off to Detroit as well, I think. Yeah, he's going to Detroit. Very sad about that. Our cornerback depth is going to be tested. We're putting a lot on, Shaquille Griffin right now, guys. Very sad that we couldn't keep Deshaun Shedd in the fold. That's basically what happened this offseason. We lost a lot. We didn't get back much. We can't afford to get back much right now. This next year might, unfortunately, be a gap year, basically, for this team, where we understand that we're not going to be a great team. We're not going to win a Super Bowl. We're just going to try to figure out what we have. We're going to figure out what we have on the offensive line. Going to figure out what we have on the secondary. And next year, we can load up and maybe make a run at things. But in the meantime, we're wasting another year of a franchise quarterback, Russell Wilson. We're wasting another year of guys like Bobby Wagner. I throw KJ Wright in there. Earl Thomas, who no guarantee he's on the roster next year, by the way. If we give him away for like a third-round pick, you will see me mad. I will lose it. There is no way that trading Earl Thomas for a third-round pick is better than just keeping him and dealing with it next season. So we might find out in the next couple days what's going on with Earl. If we trade him and we don't get tremendously overpaid in the process, I want nothing to do with that, guys. But anyway, we're wasting years of Doug Baldwin, and that is not what a well-run organization should be doing. But we made some mistakes as a team, and they compounded over the years, and last year they really, really hit hard, and now we're dealing with it. We look, the free agents we got, guys like Jaron Brown from the Cardinals, I'm okay with it. I've wanted Austin Seferian-Jenkins. We didn't get him, but it's not a huge loss, that's for sure. It's thin, guys. What we got is thin. I don't hate everything we did, but right now we see a lot of stuff going out, not a lot of stuff going in. It's hard to not be concerned about this upcoming season because we got good players on this team. You can't rebuild when you have a franchise quarterback. That's horrible. And it almost feels like that's what we're heading towards. But we'll know more after the draft over the next couple of days. And I'll get to that now. But Seahawks fans, sad days. We did get a Super Bowl out of the deal, so I can't trade that for anything. But it has not been a fun couple months for Seahawks fans. And it depressed me so much I didn't even want to make videos. But here I am now. All right. See you guys in a moment.